All right, troops, welcome to the Action Elite. My name is Owen. So we got a fun show for you tonight, and this is a special request from Ronnie Wheaton. So Ronnie, we're finally doing this show for you per your request. I wanted to make sure we actually did it this time. But before we start, I'll bring in the squad. So first of all is J-Man.
Hey, good. How are you?
Good. We will never not laugh when we do that.
Nope.
And next we have Sean. All right.
Hey, what's up?
Much. And Steve.
Hello.
And Charlie.
It's me.
What up?
What's happening?
Not too much. So tonight we're going to be talking about our favorite sort of action movie villains from the 80s and 90s, as requested by Ronnie. And there's going to be stuff we forget because there are so many great villains and characters from the 80s and 90s. Give us a break if we do forget.
Right.
Like, you forget this guy, and this guy doesn't get. Well, we know.
I think
But
Ronnie gave us a list in the group the other day too when we talked about it, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was like pretty good size. I was like, well, there's no one else left to talk about, Ronnie. You know it.
Yeah, because you've literally ruined our podcast.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Yeah.
Well, we've got some caps though. We're not doing superheroes.
Yeah.
We're not doing. So it's like, what's the
Yeah.
parameter? Let everyone know the parameters. So this,
Yeah,
because
so we're
some say
more,
Joker. Where's Joker? Right?
Yeah, there's not going to be Joker. There's not going to be Darth Vader or the Emperor in there. I'm not going to do Star Wars. I'm going for like proper action movies. I am cheating a little bit because there are certain movies I'm going to allow in, like Terminator and stuff like this, because that's Arnie or whatever. So you know, that obviously is allowed. Because if you didn't, people like, why isn't Arnie in here? So you can't really win either way. So. But first of all, I think we all need to agree that the greatest of all time in terms of the henchman is Al Leong. So nobody else really matters compared to Al Leong.
Right.
Who is the greatest
Al
henchman
Leong
of
is
all time.
always it. He's on my list 12 times. Is that he is
So
my
many
patron.
movies.
He is my patron saint on the podcast. So I mean,
Yeah.
come on, man.
Yeah.
It's always Al Leong forever. He's on my computer right now. I got a sticker.
Yeah.
Man's so badass that we made him the basis of rating action movies. Al
Uh,
Leong, man.
That's all you need. I mean, Die Hard, Lethal Weapon. I mean, he was just in all of the major action movies.
All
Big
of
Trouble in Little China he was in too as well. So, I mean, you almost couldn't list all the movies he's in. He was just in so many.
can.
So, he's just absolute legend. So, Al Leong, this stream is dedicated to you and your greatness. So,
That's it.
so there we are. So I don't really know how to actually go about this. So we'll just shoot the shit about some villains. So
Sure.
Charlie, do you have any favorites you want to mention?
Well, yeah, and I had to find my shirt because I knew I bought it, but it's Vernon Wells as Bennett, as Wes, as Lord General, and there he is right there. There's my Bennett from Commando.
Yeah.
I love him as a villain, man. He just has a presence on screen. He looks insane, and I've met him personally, and he is the sweetest man ever. He will talk to you, engage with you, and he's at the top of my list when it comes to villains, man.
Mhm.
I absolutely love Vernon Wells with action movies. You know, Road Warrior. I mean, come on, he's iconic for that. You know, it's assless chaps, but that's okay. We'll remember him about other things in action movies. I think Owen's dying.
He's sneezing. He's sneezing.
Oh, I know.
Your answer, he's allergic to your answer, Charlie.
That's what it was. Yeah.
I never sneeze once. For me, it's always 6 times. I don't know why. It's always exactly
So
6 times.
weird.
I don't know. It's weird.
It's
I think I have a
crazy.
curse.
So yeah, I'm going Vernon Wells. That's
Okay.
that's mine on the top of my list.
I have a choice between sort of 2 that are my favorite, and they're not quite who you would expect. Everyone's expecting Hans Gruber, and obviously Hans Gruber is one of the absolute greats. But I love the Kurgan from Highlander, Clancy Brown.
I had Kurgan on my list.
Anything Clancy Brown is in, he just makes it better. His voice, his presence, and the Kurgan was sort of funny but scary at the same time.
Like the neck.
Yeah. all that,
Safety
and,
pins. Yeah, love it.
Yeah, so that was awesome. But also, I gotta say, Clarence Boddicker from RoboCop. He's actually
He's on my
you
list.
gotta say Clarence
He's on
Boddicker.
my list.
I think he's my number 1 because he's another one. I go for the one who terrified me when I was a kid, and I was like Clarence Boddicker. I mean, can you fly, Bobby? Just all that stuff.
Yeah.
He was just such.
He's malicious, man. He's just cold and.
What
just
I love
love
about
it.
him is he's so disrespectful to everything. Like when they put him in, he spits blood on the booking in the booking sheet, and he's like, "Just give me my fucking phone call," like that. I just he has no respect for anyone. Like he's doing that big drug deal. He's insulting the guy who he's going to back.
Yeah. I got tickets to the Tigers tonight.
Tonight.
Well, he disrespects Dick Jones too.
Yeah.
He's like, look at my face. You know, he's like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
I think Richard.
Yeah. I think what pissed me off with Clarence Bodiger, because there's some characters where I thought was a cool villain, and I didn't think Clarence Bodiger was a cool villain. I thought he was just like a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And I despise him. And the reason is that he was happy about doing the villainy. It wasn't like there's sometimes there's like a killer who's like, you know, a psychotic killer or like a bad guy, and he's just in the zone. And I'm like, I'm a killer. I'm an assassin or whatever. He was like enjoying hurting people and destroying stuff.
He's a psychopath. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what? Screw this guy. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like, even if you go with like the Emperor or like like obviously Terminator is going to be in my list, but like they're mission oriented. Like the T-1000 isn't enjoying anything. He's just like, I'm doing this job. Like Clarence Bodiger was enjoying everything. So that just made me like just hate him even more. Yeah.
He's so vile. He's vile.
He is vile. There's like, I love villains whenever there's absolutely nothing redeeming about them.
Yeah, there's nothing redeeming.
That's what it's like. That's what we were saying, Charlie, last week about Ned Trent and the Specialist. So we'll get James Woods out of the way now.
He's on my list.
Yeah, because he's so good. But he's immediately, even when he and Stallone are friends at the start, he's a dick. He's just arrogant dickbag from the start, and you're just like, I can't wait to watch you die at the end.
Yep.
So that's my James Woods shout out. But so Sean, who would you have?
I got some weird choices on here, but
weird.
So I'll get a weird one out of the way. Gene Simmons was in terrible movies, but his villains were pretty memorable to me, at least when I was a kid. Like Runaway, like the Doctor.
Yeah. I knew you were gonna say Runaway.
Love Runaway.
Runaway. What?
The one I watched a lot, like really late at night, was Never Too Young to Die. It's a terrible movie with, on John Stamos and Vanity, right?
Vanity,
But his villain in that, it's politically incorrect today, but like his villainy in that, it's like the thing about it, there's one moment in that where he's disguised as like a general or something, and he looks totally normal. And then he rips the thing off and he has this like he rolls his eyes up into his head and he looks like crazy. And that left a big impression on me when I was like 10. I was like, good God, I didn't even know that guy was him, you know. He was always involved in memorable moments in his terrible movies, and like he's kind of an unsung hero in the kind of villain. He made what, 3 movies where he was a villain?
Yeah, I think it's at least 3.
I think so.
Yeah. The one where he's an Arab stereotype. I can't remember the name of that.
Yeah, I don't remember that one either. I don't think he wants to remember that one either.
Yeah. So I'm just getting that guy on the list here.
That's awesome.
There's 2 other guys on my list. Velvet Von Ragnar. That's a great name.
It's all just for the name. I like it.
Yeah.
James Bond villain, man. What the hell?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, James Bond villains. I forgot about them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely say them. Fuck, I've forgotten the guys. What's the guy's name in License to Kill? I know it's Robert Davi. What's the bad guy called again?
It's either Escobar or Sanchez.
Yeah, Santos or something. It's always the same 3 names whenever it comes to the movie. I can't remember. He was good anyway. Robert Davi was another actor who was always just great at playing villains in everything.
Red Eye in Wishmaster the Djinn. He was the Djinn.
Yes.
He's good.
And of course, Goonies.
Yes.
Goonie.
So, all right, Steve.
I'm going to name 3. One's an obvious one, and 2 are not. The obvious one is Robert Patrick as the T-1000.
Yeah.
The standard for the emotionless villain, but still very, very like the casual brutality. I love casual villainy or villainy having fun, and he was just casual villainy when he's pretending to be, the woman Jeanette Goldstein from Aliens, the foster mother,
the foster mom,
and she's like he's just like, oh, like the dude's like the dog and all that. The guy from Barbed Wire is just like, oh, the dog, and she's just like, and she's literally just stuck a knife through the guy's mouth, and it's just very casual. Like, I love that thing. This is going to sound weird. I love how Robert Patrick runs in that role. It's very efficient. It's very like straight lines.
That's the Tom Cruise run.
Yeah. It's
better than a Steven Seagal run.
Somebody was going to say it.
So I really, and just very iconic character. So I had to mention him. But who might be my favorite villain from the 80s and 90s is Howard Payne, Atlanta PD Bomb Squad.
Yes.
Dennis Hopper.
He was on my list. Yeah.
I love Dennis Hopper and Speed. My father, when I saw Speed, I talked about Dennis Hopper's character to my dad until he was really like, "Shut up! There's other villains in movies." But I love him. I just love how he's got a line that is literally, you knew in the pitch session. It was literally the line in the pitch session. There's a bomb on a bus. He literally says the pitch session for the movie in the movie. And I love that. I just love how he's like, there's a bomb on a bus. And that's part of the reason I love Speed itself is it's very simple. There's a bomb on a bus. What are you going to do? Right? If you go above 60, it's going to blow up. That's it. It's awesome. But I love how he's like menacing these people and he kills the lady and he's watching a football game. He's actually invested in that football game. Right? And it's just awesome. He's such a bastard. And he's got this cynical side to him because he used to be one of the good guys, and he keeps telling Keanu Reeves' character, it's like, what a bomb is, it doesn't explode. It's just a cheap gold watch, which is what he got when he retired from the bomb squad. And even he's got Sandra Bullock at the end all wired up and he's like, it's not going to hurt any. And I'm like, are you trying to make her feel better? You're going to kill this woman.
She's going to explode.
Yeah, you're going to make her literally explode into pieces. Like, he's such a bastard. I love Dennis Hopper in Speed. He's probably my favorite 90s villain. Before I say another one, honorable mention to Randy Quaid in Hard Rain.
Yes,
I think he's a terrific villain. I do wish he had the line when he threw the badge away. If they kept the line from the trailer where he says, "I'm the what," literally throwing the badge away. But I just love the fact that he's just like, you know what? I'm going to you guys didn't reelect me. I'm just going to take advantage of this and do what I can, and that's it. I just love how he's opportunistic. So I really love Randy Quaid in Hard Rain. But the other villain, I'm actually surprised we didn't mention, because he's a great actor and he was also a great villain in The Fifth Element, is Gary Oldman and Leon the Professional.
I was going to be naming him next.
Norman Stansfield, man. That guy, he's playing piano on the fireplace while people are getting murdered in the next room. Gary Oldman is awesome in that movie. He's twitchy and he's having fun in the role, and I just love that character. I think he's a terrific counterpoint to Jean Reno's very, straight-laced, straightforward, blah, blah. He's just like, he's mad. Like, as soon as he walks in, the best description is mad. And he has no compunction about menacing anyone. He doesn't care. Again, a very opportunistic villain. And Gary Oldman literally could probably read the phone book and make it sound good. So Gary Oldman and
agreed.
Leon the Professional.
Okay. I also I was going to say Gary Oldman in Air Force One.
Yes.
Well. Execute the hostage every half an hour. I love that. But for some reason, I find it sort of he's absolutely despicable and just so hateful. But yet there's a scene where I laugh whenever one of the women is like saying to him, "How can you do this?" Blah, blah, blah. And he's like, "Shut up!"
I love it.
And he's just like such a turd. And I was like, "Oh, that was a great bad guy." So Gary Oldman in that. Gary Oldman in anything where he plays a villain, anytime he's a villain, he's just so good. Even that small role he had as Drexel in True Romance, he was great in that too. So
he was in
Gary Oldman's
Hitman's Bodyguard, and you just
Yes.
like
Yeah.
it's Gary Oldman in this movie, and
Yeah.
actually I like him in that one. He's actually seems
That
like
wasn't bad,
a
yep.
dictator. You know, it worked out good for him in that one.
Yeah. So J-Man, you.
So I wasn't sure if we're doing like actors or like a character from a movie.
Both,
So
we
I've
do
got
both.
like a whole bunch of random stuff.
Random
For
stuff.
actor, I'll throw Michael Ironside in there.
Yes. I was gonna say, yeah.
Just for anything. You
Richter.
pick whatever. Sure. Richter. There you go.
To the body, Richter.
Yeah, Katana from I Like Highlander 2.
Yep.
So that's just a name. Pretty much anytime he's a villain, he's awesome.
Yep.
Even when he's a good guy, he's awesome.
Yeah.
For characters, I mean, there's so many. I don't know where to really begin. I kind of, I really like Lord Humongous.
I have him in the list. Yep.
Yeah, okay, because just walk away, right? There's pretty much zero chance that he was going to let them walk away.
No.
But he might have. I mean, there's
No, he
always still
wouldn't.
that chance that he was just like, let them go, because they're going to die anyway. Where are they going to go without the gasoline? So it's
I like that.
just
There's like,
leave.
right, just walk away. Oh, Michael Ironside from our Space Hunter from our last thing.
Yeah.
An Extreme Prejudice.
Yes.
Yes.
And
yeah.
visiting hours.
Visiting hours, yeah. But Lord Humongous is great because it's just like, we've all lost. But there is a little hint of humanity to him because he says we've all lost people and stuff. And there's a part where Max goes, where he's getting his gun. He has a little case and he's got his gun. He has a certain amount of bullets. There's actually like a photograph. You could try to pause it and try to see it. So it could be his family or something unless he killed someone and took that. But I don't think so.
There's a rumor. It's never been proved, but no one's ever said like it's not, that there was a chance it was Goose.
I heard that. I was just gonna say, they heard it's Goose.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Which I'm like, I don't know if I would hate that, but I also, I still like how each movie is almost like its own standalone.
Right.
Maybe there's a little bit of hint to another one,
Sure.
but I think I like Lord Humongous just being a dude that rallied a bunch of guys around
I like
him.
that too.
Yeah. And he's freaking huge. Unless Goose was on steroids after the burn, he's not going to get that big.
So. This mask right here is the Lord Humongous mask, just the black version.
Oh, yeah.
I have a white version of that, and I had two black versions because
I can't get mine down, but I have the action figure.
I've got the figures.
Yeah, I got him hanging right there.
Yeah, I got him too.
There comes the assassin Owen.
I can't see shit.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the other way, Owen, not when you put them on.
No, I can see shit until I put them on.
Okay, there you go.
It's like the blur's talking.
For another actor we could throw out there is Bolo. I mean, you've got him on your thing. Chong Li or whatever was awesome. Yeah. And I like Chong Li that like he's just like immediately threatening because he just looks big anyways. But also it's like he's really like destroying the people in that tournament pretty easily, and you're like, oh, okay, well, and he's already the victor. So it's a good way to establish a villain without going like, without having a whole backstory for the guy. You're like, yeah, okay, they show him breaking the ice and stuff. So it's like, yeah, okay, I got it. He's strong, and that's good enough. And they built him up within the story. They didn't need an origin story, how they do now. Like I could just see them doing Bloodsport 0, and it'd be like Chong Li as a kid and how he became bad. Like it's like, I hate that kind of thing.
He doesn't have to talk a whole lot, so he doesn't need a ton of dialogue. No. I mean,
it
works.
He's just a dick.
He's just a dick, but he has a presence, and it works really good. Just like in Double Impact. I mean, he's still just fucking menacing as hell in that.
Best
Takes
barrel
a shotgun
throwing
to the face.
Barrel
throwing.
Yeah, I got lots, but we can just,
we'll just
go.
Has to be in there too.
Oh, he's great. In Sudden Death, he's like a real bastard in that.
That's actually my next pick was actually going to be Powers Booth in Sudden Death. And,
he's awesome.
Extreme
Prejudice. To them. Very similar guy. Like Cash, he's so good at playing, and even Tombstone as well. He's so good at playing a smug asshole, kind of like James Woods that way, where he's just so good you just hate him every second he's on.
What's everybody's favorite GIF? Well, bye. That's what every time someone's like, I'm going to leave this group. Bye.
But
Yeah.
Michael Biehn is brilliant in that movie too. He's like, oh, it smells like something died here or something, and I'm like, oh my god, man. And then like Powers Booth laughs. He's like, oh, Johnny. It's fucking.
That whole wedding massacre at the beginning of that thing. I mean, it's insane. I mean, Michael Biehn is like cold as hell in that.
Yeah,
movie,
he is,
and I love him in it. You know, great villain. Not someone that you would really consider a villain role with Michael Biehn. So that fits really good too.
Another one that I was going to mention, I forgot. Mola Ram from Temple of
Yeah, I've got him on.
He is the best Indiana Jones villain by far.
Oh,
as far as I'm concerned. Yeah.
Yeah, you know why? I was just talking to my wife before this stream. And I say, you know why Mola Ram's the best? Because, and Sean's already laughing because he knows why. It's like Indiana Jones is holding the bag. He's like, "Let her go. You want the stones? Let her go." Right? And he's like, "Drop them, Dr. Jones. They will be found. You won't." Like, okay, drop them. I don't care. Like,
yeah.
All right. And he's also Mogambo. And Sean knows he's also Mogambo from Mr.
Yeah, Amish Puri was a big villain actor in India.
Yeah.
So he lent that to this, right? So yeah.
Yeah, and he's like this big dictator guy in
Mogambo, Mr. India. Yeah.
From Mr. India. And Mr. India can turn invisible, so it's a superhero thing, so he can turn invisible. But like Mogambo's like this big super villain, and you're just like Mogambo, and it's like you're like, oh my god, he's so good. You're just when we're done, just Google him or whatever. Google Mogambo.
His catchphrase is Mogambo is pleased. And that's after he murders people. So like at one point, some guy he doesn't like, he throws him into a vat of acid and it turns into a skeleton and stuff. It goes, Mogambo is pleased.
Yeah, he's so good.
Yes, anyway, I love that.
Yeah, he's great.
Aye, that's him, yeah.
Well, I got one based on something J-Man said before we started, because he's like, villains are only ever in like one movie. It's like, how am I supposed to be memorable? Well, it made me remember one, and that's Larry Drake as Durant in the.
Oh, he was into.
I was going to mention. Yeah, I was thinking of mentioning him.
That's
and
it,
Dr.
man.
Giggles.
Awesome.
Dr. Giggles, he was good, but man,
there's another one who freaked me out though as a kid though. There's certain actors who, whenever you're a kid and they're villains, they're just terrifying, and he was one of them.
He just had this look to it. Not to mention he's surrounded by some iconic villains, like Smiley and all these guys. Yeah. But Durant was just a bastard. He had the cigar cutter. He cut people's fingers off. And, and then he comes back. He gets blown up with a rocket, but comes back in the second one.
Just a flesh wound.
Just a flesh wound, man. So Larry Drake,
somehow Durant has returned.
and they named it after him.
Yeah,
they named the movie The Return of Durant. Like they actually named it after the guy coming back. Like how pumped is that?
Yeah. Wasn't the third one Die Durant Die or something like that?
No, it was Die Darkman Die.
Die Darkman Die. I thought
he goes after like a business tycoon guy who's trying to build up a city or something.
Yeah, Jeff Fahey's the villain in the third one.
That's it, Jeff Fahey. And honestly, Larry Drake's barely even a bad guy in the first one. There's like another bad guy.
Yeah, it's the developer who's the
developer. They fight on the girders and stuff. So I mean, he's actually pretty cool. He reminds me of like the white boy characters from I Come in Peace. That very like business attire, but I'll still kill you. I don't give a shit kind of feel. And speaking of I Come in Peace, I have Matthias Hughes on my list. There's no way I can't have that fucking giant on my list. That was a favorite movie of mine as a kid, and it's like the other guy was huge too, the good guy Alien, but there was something about Matthias, man, the way he looked, those eyes, the long hair, and just I come in peace. And it's just fucking love
pieces, asshole.
One-liners, love them.
We talked about Clarence Boddicker, but we didn't talk about
Dick Jones.
He's great.
Ronnie Cox.
Ronnie Cox is awesome.
Ronnie Cox.
Yeah, Ronnie Cox was another great guy who's just for villains. Yeah.
He did play the president of the United States, though, in Captain America, the Albert Young Captain America movie.
Well, he played the good police lieutenant in Beverly Hills Cop.
Yes.
I saw RoboCop first, so like I read later that people had a hard time with him in RoboCop because they're like, he plays a nice guy. He's this nice guy in these movies, and now he's a dick. I went the other way around going, man, this guy is not supposed to be a good guy. I can't get behind him.
I'm with you. I saw the revert. Like I saw that first, and I was like, wow, okay, like this guy's I thought he was a bastard.
Yeah. Yeah, you think he's a jackass. You're like you're watching Beverly Hills Cop, and you're like, this guy's in cahoots with
Yeah, he's the bad guy.
You don't even consider the old man a bad guy in the first movie. He becomes a bad guy in the second
movie. Right.
So
well,
it's
he's
all Dick Jones. Yeah,
he's like, you call this a glitch, and it's like there's a dead guy in your
poor
office.
Kenny. Damn it, poor Kenny.
That's life in the big city.
Life in the big city. Yeah.
Well,
Does somebody call the goddamn paramedics? That's the best line in the movie.
He might be okay.
The guy's paced.
Don't touch him. Don't touch him.
Don't touch him.
So good.
Let's go, Johnson.
You gotta mention is Tom Noonan.
On my list.
He's on my list.
On my list, man.
The
Ripper and Kane, man.
Yep.
Oh, God.
And then Charles Dance from The Last Action Hero as well, just till I remember as well.
Oh, yes.
He was good.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's on there.
I got more bad guys. It's the Ripper.
Oh, wow.
Nice. I don't know there's figures of that. Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
Oh, yeah, man. There's Jack Slater.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I remember these, actually. I do remember them.
And John Spartan from Demolition Man.
Oh, nice.
I was going to say Simon Phoenix.
Yeah, Simon Phoenix is way up there for me.
He's on my list. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Also, we got to mention Tong Po as well. Michelle Kisi or Mohammed Kisi from Kickboxer and the sequels. I mean, he rapes Van Damme's woman in the first one. I mean, that's not okay. So
no, it's not. He's in Bloodsport too. Like he's almost unrecognizable. He's one of the regular fighters, and then you're like, Tong Po's in this one too. And you go back and watch. He's the one that he does the quarter trick. That he wants to take the reporter up to his room, and Jean-Claude Van Damme
knows American asshole. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's kind of wild when you're like, holy shit, that guy is in that movie.
Yeah. You're also going to mention Billy Drago from pretty much every
movie.
On my list. I love Billy Drago. Jesus, man. He's in one of the Hills Have Eyes. He's the dad in the Hills Have Eyes remake. I
like those remakes.
One of the Children of the Corn movies that's on Tubi right now. I mean, dude just shows up everywhere, and you can't miss his look. And his son is actually an actor who was one of the gang members in Class of 1999. And I never realized that till I was doing research going, fucking Billy Drago's got a kid. You know? And when you look at him, you're like, holy shit, it is Billy Drago's kid.
Yeah, Lance Henriksen.
Yeah, Lance Henriksen and Hard Target, Fushon and Pick.
Fushon and Chains in Stone Cold.
Yeah.
Where he's in the biker gang. Fucking badass in that. But yeah, got Lance on my list.
Yeah, Lance is always a great villain. Super nice guy in real life. James Hong in Big Trouble in Little China.
Yeah.
Sure. James Hong is in 400 movies.
He's
one of the hardest working men in Hollywood right now. I mean, he has, I think,
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, oh, dude, he's up there. He was just in Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Yeah.
Speech,
yeah. So he got that.
What about does Thulsa Doom count? Like that's my favorite movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure, yeah. I say Doom.
James
Conan's my favorite. So Thulsa Doom's pretty good.
Also got to mention Brian Thompson, Night Slasher and Cobra.
Yeah.
He
was also one of the vampires in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He was the first
one
in the world.
Here's what I mentioned Rucker Hauer in Blade Runner. If you're seeing Terminator, Blade Runner's in there. I'm not a fan of sympathetic villains, but he's like one of the best. You know, because you really see his viewpoint at the end, right?
I don't. Screw him. Shoot him in the face. It's like, I have zero sympathy for that guy.
Too, but like,
I have zero. If I had my Bailey doing the zero thing, I'd be like, that's the much sympathy I have for that guy. Zero. I have seen whatever. I don't care what you've seen.
Still murder people. We didn't know any better, right?
Here's one J-Man will agree with. Kane from Cuffs.
Oh, he's great.
Of himself, yeah.
I love Cuffs. There's a picture of himself. So my buddy Sean replicated that picture and got the same kind of shirt with the square of himself. He replicated that from of his own face, like doing like.
Why not, man? I'd wear my own face on a shirt. It's
I
totally
love
fine.
how he goes to Cuffs' apartment. He's like, I don't know what you think I did, but I didn't do it, sort of thing. And he's almost believable. He's so sincere. He plays so sincere, like you're almost believe him, but you're like, no, this guy's a bastard. He did it.
Yeah.
But he is so good, and I love him in that movie, man. I just love his shirt. Like, I love how Christian Sorkin's like, where do you get your shirts? Like,
I love Cops. I've got the soundtrack to that like on my phone.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Yep, that's a good one. Well, we said James Hong, but that always makes me think of and I'm gonna fuck up his name, but Ryuki Tagawa, Shang Tsung, Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Awesome.
Love that. He just looks like a bad guy. Period. You know, wakes up, brushes his teeth. I'm a bad guy, and just goes about his day. That's how I like to imagine it. Well, I love him in that.
Yeah.
he was in
Richard Lynch in Invasion.
Oh yes, I got him on my list.
Yeah.
Ben's got John Lithgow for Cliffhanger. I love him in that.
Basically, all of the bad guys in Cliffhanger, they're absolute dicks as well. Just all of them.
Every one of them.
That British guy's the worst. So where like he shoots the pilot, and even the girl says, "You didn't have to do that." He's like, "We're wasting time." Like,
I agree with him.
I
agree with him. We can't be messing around, man. That's like, you know,
I'm cold.
Are you in or you out?
Yeah, I'll just find the money. Let's go. Let's get out of here, man.
What about the leader of the Riffs? From I guess he's two. Are we doing 7? Oh, that's 70s, so we're not it.
Yeah, I had some of these guys too, and I was like, oh, I can't do that.
Well, you can. It doesn't matter.
Late 70s. I mean,
anybody from the Warriors is good.
Anybody from the Warriors,
I was gonna say Warriors. Absolutely.
I mean, you gotta have that on it. So yeah.
I was gonna say the Scorpio Killer from Dirty Harry 1.
That guy's a bastard.
He is the argument. I mean, it's like, why is Dirty Harry like this? Because of this, right? You know, that's the perfect foil. You know?
Yes. And then he's the best character in Deep Space Nine. It's like, I mean, he's a great actor, and he's in Hellraiser. He's the dad in Hellraiser.
Yeah, it's such a great juxtaposition. It's like such a different character. He's like this total nice good guy, and then
Scorpio is awesome.
In Dirty Harry, he's so despicable. That it goes like when Harry's torturing him and standing on his leg that he just shot. You want him to do it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you're cheering. Yeah,
he actually goes into that area where it's not fun. Sometimes it's fun to like the villain, but it's not fun.
Well, that was the 70s. So in the 70s, it was more gritty and realistic, where they were like real people, and that was the thing. Where anytime I watch movies from the 70s, it feels almost more like a documentary rather than a movie. It's just sort of like, no, this is what it was really like at the time. And that's where you go like Death Wish and Dirty Harry movies.
I was going to say pick a villain from Death Wish, man. I mean,
you can say the Dirty Harry and Death Wish movies because the franchises continued on into the 80s. So
there you go.
There you go. Yeah. But I mean, really, that's where a lot of the 70s pulled from was like news articles and headlines.
It was visceral.
It was very visceral, and it wasn't till we like everyone wanted just bigger and bigger and bigger. You know, so we start creating these villains.
Dirty Harry gets a little cartoony when he hijacks the school bus, and then Dirty Harry jumps off the overpass. It's awesome, but it's like, but at the same time, you still, I know.
Remove him from the stream immediately.
You still want him dead because there's no redeeming that guy.
This is why your internet's conking out on you. This is why you're throwing. Even the internet.
The moviegoers are upset.
No, all 5 Dirty Harry movies are masterpieces. Actually, Sean bought that set for me. You bought me my first
sets of it.
That's so funny.
I love them, but I'm
That's
saying,
so funny.
I've already hung a post-it note over top Sean's face now, so it's fine.
I can't.
I can't with you right now. Oh,
what about Blofeld? Is it like who's everyone's favorite Blofeld?
Yeah,
different actors played him. Pleasance?
Yes. Kill Bond now.
I like Telly Savalas.
Yeah, Telly Savalas was good, but I love it's
Donald Pleasance. Just I liked him as that because it was different. You know, seeing him as a bad guy versus like the good guy, kind of in the Halloween franchise. You know, the Doctor Loomis, but then he's Blofeld in one, and you're just like, holy shit, it's Donald Pleasance, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and you know who we haven't mentioned yet, and we should hang our heads in shame. Gary Busey.
That's on my list.
Under Siege, Lethal Weapon. I mean,
Mr. Josh
on my list.
I don't believe you. You just added it. I saw you.
No, I had to take it off Sean's face real quick.
Well, if you're going to mention him, you got to mention Tommy Lee as well.
Yes.
I agree. I think Tommy Lee makes a fantastic Batman, and that's not counting like the Two-Face.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, Ben, we did.
But also,
he's like way up there. But
Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, as well. He was great in that too. So.
Yeah.
Yes.
Andrew
Yeah,
Robinson.
sure.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. Oh yes,
Absolutely.
Vincent Klein, Fender from Cyborg. Yes.
Yeah, who actually lost an eye in that whole thing, which was messed up. But yeah, they Jean-Claude Van Damme actually did cut his eye.
He always hits people. Like he's supposed to be this great martial arts. Anytime he does a demonstration, he kicks people in the face.
He does.
Well, Van Damme is one of the best villains.
And that's right. Yeah. Well, Vincent sued the production and got paid for that. Like it was kind of a big deal, and he's still pissed off at Jean-Claude about that.
He's got two eyes.
Yeah,
relax.
It's a full other one. Yeah, I said relax.
Exactly.
He's still.
I got one on my list. Jack Palance.
Yeah, he's good.
Nice.
Yes. I mean, not just counting like Batman Jack Palance, but he was in. God, he's been in everything. He was in some of our sword and sorcery movies.
Yeah,
we're getting ready to talk about Hawk the Slayer and stuff like that. I mean, Jack Palance just pops up, and it's just that voice, man. He does it best in Batman because that's always the one come on, Jack.
I'm my number one.
That's just when you say Jack Palance, and also City Slickers, stuff like that. I think of him, but I think he just has that voice of a villain more than anything.
Yeah. Also, we mentioned him last week, and I wanted to make sure we remember Gerald Okamura, Cage 2, Firepower, Showdown in Little Tokyo.
Absolutely. Well, if we're gonna do that, then Professor Toru Tanaka, also Sub-Zero, the Butcher in Dead Heat. He was in what's the Perfect Weapon? Is that the name of it?
The Perfect Weapon.
Yep, Perfect Weapon. So I mean,
speaking of which, Damon Killian from The Running Man. He's great because
he's great.
Perfect.
He doesn't do anything himself, which is the best thing. He's is the game show host, but he's still an evil bastard. So he's great. Love him.
He's just trying to do quality entertainment. You guys are too hard on these characters.
Look, man, it's TV, man. It's cutthroat. Come on, man.
Right.
Yeah,
he's not gonna have the #1 rated show if he's dicking around and showing knitting shows on TV. He's got to get the ratings here for the corporation.
I mean, he's got a direct line to the president's agent. It's fine, man. He's got it.
Next week, Knitting with J-Man.
No, that's in Demolition Man where you learn how to knit.
Yeah.
Yes, Night Hawk's good. Henry Silva from Above the
Law.
Oh,
he's great.
I mean, a Screwface from Mark for Death as well, and Richie from Out for Justice.
Yep.
Tony Todd.
Oh yeah, Tony Todd.
The Rock. I don't like soft ass shit from The Rock.
I was going to say Chosen from Crank 2.
Yeah.
Because that guy, you just want to punch that guy, man.
Yeah.
And he takes off his shirt like for your connection,
for your connection.
But also John Kreese, Johnny Lawrence, and Silver as well. I mean, all of them are like assholes. So in those movies, anyway. So yeah, definitely sad.
Kreese, all those guys.
Yeah. Patrick Kilpatrick from Sandman from Death Warrant.
Anything he's in, he's good. He's good.
Yeah, anything. Sandman, Toxic Avenger. He was one of the gang members in that. I mean, he's been in everything. Man. Class of 1999. He's like the final robot at the end of that one.
Yeah.
So
what about the? So what you were mentioning earlier, the Rocky villains. Are we? I mean, I think I like Drago the best because Dolph Lundgren's just a monster.
Dolph Lundgren, yeah.
But like character-wise, Clubber Lang is like kind of the best because he's Rocky. He's like the mirror Rocky.
Anti-Rocky.
Anti-Rocky.
Clubber Lang is my personal favorite, and Rocky 3 is my favorite of the Rocky films. I love it. So yeah, I would definitely say Rocky 3. So.
Yeah.
I think Rocky 3 is maybe the best one, but Rocky 4 is outrageous.
I love Rocky 4.
It's a music video. It's a music
video. There's a robot life in it. Like, come on.
Not in the director's cut. Have you
I saw the
they eliminated
it. Verses on that.
Yeah.
That would be interesting.
We should just actually rank the Rocky and Creed movies. Actually, I'd have to watch them all again. No, I don't know.
I haven't watched any of the Creed yet, so I'd have to get caught up on that. But if we're gonna say like Dolph Lundgren, I have him on here for Andrew Scott.
Universal
Soldier.
Still the best villain death of all time.
Oh, your discharge, Sarge.
Sarge. Yeah.
Love that line. Where's he at? He's around.
Yeah.
I like where he says that's the spirit soldier after that big music and the big fire does the big. He's like, all right, now we're getting somewhere. It's like, finally.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. I'm all ears.
Oh, God.
What about Face Off? Do you count those? Those are like Castor Troy and
John
Travolta,
Virus the damn virus and Con Air.
That's a good one. Yeah. But John Travolta, even in Broken Arrow, he's the bad guy in that. You know, so between Face Off, Nick Cage and him are interchangeable
weapons. Yeah.
Hey, you know what bothered me in Speed? It didn't bother me, but it was weird where he talks like this.
Holds it the
why
other
are you
way.
holding the phone weird?
Well, I think it's because he lost some fingers.
No, I know, but hold it on this side. Like, why is it across your face?
I'm trying to remember.
I think
there's something messed up on his ear because
the other hand. I can't remember. It was.
I'm
weird.
thinking it was good hand to good ear.
What
he was doing.
Yeah, all right. I just thought it was weird. I thought it was neat because I remembered it from the theater, and I was like, "Why is he holding it like this or whatever?"
That was my first R-rated VHS action movie I got. My mom bought it for me. I love Speed, man.
Was that rated R?
Yeah.
Oh, not in Canada though.
Not here. Yeah.
Oh,
we can
in America.
I totally saw it by myself. So yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I was like, no way. Okay, yeah.
It was a 15 in the UK because they say fuck a few times and there's some violence.
They do that, and there's
you could do a couple of F words in Canada and still be okay.
We get one, and then
it's R.
And then it's PG-13 and then R if it's more than that.
R if it's more than that, or if it's too much nudity.
Yeah, because the first time you heard the word in the movie, you might not register. You're like, wait, what was that word? If you hear it twice, then it's like, oh.
Which always so pissed me off with Live Free and Die Hard that they played with yippee-ki-yay motherfucker instead of saying it. Like, we're allowed one, goddammit. If you're going to make it PG-13,
that was a phase they were going through then, though, because like they did that with Battleship, where she's like, hello, motherfucker, and then Alien versus Predator, and they're like, you're one ugly motherfucker, and then it cuts and like, just say the word.
Just say it one time. Just one time, damn it.
Yeah. Who else? I met Marshall Teague as Jimmy in Roadhouse and Brad Wesley from Roadhouse as well.
Oh
yeah. They were pretty nasty as well. Ben Gazzara. Yeah, he was great. He was quite an underrated villain. Remember we talked about this in the Roadhouse thing where we're just like, he's another character who's just a dick from the start, like driving all over the road, and you're like, fuck this guy. So yeah, no, that's good.
How about anyone from Death Race 2000?
Pretty much everyone, yeah.
I mean, they're all assholes in that one.
William Sadler.
Yeah, he's great.
Die Hard 2, yeah.
Die Hard 2.
I like him as in Demon Knight as well.
Yes.
No,
but he's a good guy in Demon Knight.
He's a good guy in that one. Sorry.
Billy Zane, however, is the bad guy, which is awesome.
Billy Zane's the bad guy.
There's guns and explosions in Demon Knight. We'll count it as an action movie tonight.
Billy Zane was awesome in that. I was like, oh, wow.
Hell yeah, he was.
Great. Because he appeared, I forgot, because he appeared as the good guy. Like it was like the whole switch over. Like people thought he was the good guy or whatever.
He should have done more villain roles, honestly. Like he kind of plays an asshole and stuff, but I like when he like loses his shit and Sniper and starts hunting Tom Berenger towards the end of it. It's like I was actually really kind of hoping that was the way they were going with it, was he was going to lose his shit and it was going to be Sniper on Sniper.
Richard Lynch.
Yeah, Richard Lynch
over there.
They make it so easy.
That rocket launcher scene.
Yeah, Nico, they make it so easy.
It's Christmas, man. Come on.
They did make it easy. So what do you want? You're making it too easy for him.
But remember, he's one of the only villains that has nightmares about the hero.
Right. Well, it's Chuck Norris. That's allowed. Everyone has.
Everyone has nightmares about Chuck Norris, man.
He
cuddles me to sleep in my dreams. It's fine.
Well, there's 100% chance that Chuck Norris is your father, so that's fine.
There is
exactly. Man.
My favorite fact for Chuck Norris is skeletons have Chuck Norris in their closet. I love that one.
That's it. Love that.
I'm currently looking for them because there's somebody whose name I've completely forgotten, and can I think of a single film he's in? No, but he's in tons of movies. So you guys keep mentioning them.
I mean, like Escape from New York. I mean, you got Duke in New York. Like, I mean, I don't know. I was like thinking, I just basically to prepare for this, I was like, I just went through my favorite movies and then skipped anything that was fantasy and thought, oh, which.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I did on.
That's kind of what I did too.
Ones that like jump out at me.
But though I'm trying to think of ones where there was a great villain and maybe the hero wasn't so interesting. Like there's been movies like that where I've watched it and be like, yeah, it's still okay, man. The villain was great, but yeah, the hero or the rest of the movie wasn't that good. And then those movies sometimes don't stand out because it's not like everything was awesome. Like Speed, the whole movie's awesome, so it's very easy. Like, oh yeah, Speed, yeah, that was a great movie. Right. Or like, whatever, Terminator. Obviously, T-1000 is the best villain ever because he's like unstoppable and but like, I mean, I'm trying to think of movies where maybe the villain like even outshine the hero.
Actually, James Shigeta, who played Mr. Takagi in Die Hard, he's a good villain in Blood for Blood, aka Midnight Man, and Cage as well, and Cage 2. So
I haven't seen any of those.
Yeah, I'm going like super obscure here.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of those.
I thought of one, but Ernie Hudson in Penitentiary 2. Right. He's pretty frightening in that, and he has a super fight with Mr. T at the end, and there's like blood and everything. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. James Liu, there. I was trying to remember the guy. I think James Liu, L-E-W. He is like a martial artist. He's the bad guy in so many movies as well. Mostly like straight to DVD 90s movies. It's like long black hair. Could be either henchman. We never really see much, but James Liu is awesome anytime he's in anything. And if you haven't seen Blood for Blood, aka Midnight Man, I think it's on YouTube with Lorenzo Lamas as the good guy. And if it's got the Lamas in it, you know what's worth seeing.
I'm gonna watch Lorenzo Lamas. Absolutely.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So
what about Van Damme and like Replicant or what?
Yeah, we've got to mention Van Damme himself. No Retreat, No Surrender, Black Eagle.
Black Eagle, yep, that's one.
Yeah,
No Surrender is the best. I based my character. We did a movie when we did a bunch of movies, and one of my characters, who's my most famous character that I played in amongst our little circle of friends, I based on Van Damme from No Retreat, No Surrender with the suit and like standing with his hands behind his back and all that.
Well,
I'm doing splits, throwing knives. I love that scene.
We're missing an obvious one here. Raul Julia from Street Fighter.
Of course.
Game.
For me, it's Tuesday.
Yeah, for me
it was Tuesday. God,
that is the best. That's a great line.
Yeah. We need to just mention Simon Phoenix again, just because he's so good. It's Wesley Snipes.
Also,
you can say, although I don't know whether it was an action movie, I haven't seen it for so long. New Jack City, he was good in that.
That's kind of crime drama.
Yeah, I haven't seen it for long. I used to watch it all the time.
Mario Van Peebles.
Down before I make change.
Mario Van Peebles played really good. Yep. He was in the Highlander Final Dimension. Loved him in that one, man. He basically plays Kurgan as a different character. It's almost the exact same script as it goes through, but I love
he's
him.
A sorcerer.
I still love it. Yeah. I love the third Highlander movie.
Yeah, I like him.
Show enough.
Yeah, when we nearly forgot Show Enough, you can't forget him. Yeah, from the Last Dragon.
Gotta have Show Enough, man.
Yeah. Actually, I gotta say we're doing a pretty good job. I think we've named a good amount.
Any blaxploitation guys? I'm trying to think. There's got to be some in there.
Oh yeah.
Sean, can you think of any cool?
Who's the bad guy in Shaft?
I like the two guys they call in Black Belt Jones.
Yeah,
there's like two tall guys and one guy like picks a guy up and throws him into the ceiling. The guy's stuck in the ceiling and stuff.
Yeah. Remember they're okay. They're pretty cool.
Yeah.
I have to rewatch that. I don't remember exactly.
Usually for those movies, the heroes are the more memorable thing. Which
is usually.
Yeah.
What about the guy from Cotton Comes to Harlem? He was pretty good. He was like that evangelist guy or whatever. He was pretty good.
Yeah. Oh shit! Why is my brain going? I mean, there are so many action movies from the 80s and 90s.
My action movies are in a different room, so I'm trying to.
Skeletor from Masters of the Universe. The
that's fantasy. I wasn't sure.
Did you not cap that off? Yeah.
We have Conan on it though, so if you got Conan, and we can have that.
Yeah.
Skeletor is my favorite thing ever. So I mean,
it's just quotable, right? So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Skeletor is the greatest.
Yeah.
Everything comes to he who waits.
I'm just trying to think of other like Dolph Lundgren movies or Van Damme movies. So,
what about Grace Jones and
Conan,
and even Christopher Walken
I got one.
View to a Kill.
Yes.
Yeah, Christopher Walken's good.
Christopher Walken was good. Yeah. Gavin O'Hurley as Manny Fraker in Death Wish 3.
Death
Yes,
Wish
I mean,
3, yeah.
he's probably my favorite villain of the Death Wish franchise, actually, because the third one is the best film, and that's just a fact. It's nice.
Brigitte Nielsen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Yeah.
ABC Killer or whatever.
ABC, yeah.
Oh yeah. Hold that thought, because I can't remember the character's name.
If you can't remember, it won't be. We won't know it. So.
Well, just in terms of villains that are memorable, like the second 48 Hours movie, where the Iceman turns out to be the guy who gets his ear blown off, or what? Yeah. I thought that was awesome. I saw that with my mom in the theater. I don't know how the hell she took me.
How about Brian James?
Yeah,
Ryan.
Yeah, everything.
Brian James.
Brian James. Anything. There you go. That reminds me.
He has that face, man.
Oh yeah, because going back to Jack Palance, Tango and Cash, of course, and Brian James in that.
Both of them. Yeah. Well, and in 48 Hours, he was supposed to be like a bigger villain than he was, and they cut it on the editing. Like they filmed it and all, and they were just like, and Brian's still pissed about that. Like it's a real sore spot for him.
Yeah.
Do you count like Dick Tracy? Like, I mean, Big Boy. I thought
Al Pacino.
I thought Al Pacino was awesome in that movie.
He's chewing up the scenery, man.
Absolutely.
Like,
well, I mean,
and
I mean, Scarface too. I mean, Jesus.
I love Scarface. Oh yeah, I've got a toy. I should look around my room and it's like.
I was doing that earlier, going, how many bad guys do
I look at my entire DVD collection.
I mean, I've got a lot of Predator and Alien, but those don't count. So we're
I want to keep them sort of human villains. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I guess you don't want to. Oh, no, that's too new, anyways.
The movie, I can't remember the character's name, but Murphy's Law with Charles Bronson has a great female villain, and I remember thinking she was awesome in it. So that was really. I need to give that another watch.
How about female villains? There's got to be a few in there.
Well, that was Punisher, man.
Oh yes, that woman from Punisher.
When she goes like on your knees at the end, I was super angry.
Yeah, Mrs. Tanaka.
And he comes in and throws the knife.
Yep.
Yeah. That was man. Oh man, that movie's so good.
I don't know why it gets the hate, man. I don't understand.
Because people haven't watched it. I already told you my fake rage thing.
Yeah, this is like the skull. It's like we should actually. I might do an article on the site, or maybe you should do it, J-Man. And it's like things people get mad about, which they don't understand or whatever. And it's like Judge Dredd taking the helmet off, or
fake rage.
Skull. Like, how many comics have you read featuring this character?
0.
Well,
right. Exactly. So why are you fake raging? Yeah, there's so much fake rage. It's like everyone hates Captain Marvel. Oh, I'm sorry. We're a Captain Marvel fan. Of the comics, did you think she was going to be great in this movie? Like, if you don't like the comics of Captain Marvel, then you're not going to like the movie, right? Like, it's anyway.
Michael Wincott is top dollar.
Wincott. Yeah, I know you got the Captain.
Look at that Brie Larson looking over Owen.
Yes.
I don't care about the movie. I just like her.
I'm wearing another one. Hold on. Where's his face at?
I can't see.
Bill Duke from Commando.
Bill Duke.
Yes.
Bird on a Wire.
Bill Duke. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, Corey Snodgrass. That was her name. Yeah. I was trying to remember. Yeah.
Yep.
What about like Vincent and Thing from Pulp Fiction and those guys? Like, I don't know. They're not really. I don't know.
They're not really action movies, though. They're more crime dramas again.
Yeah.
I suppose. So, I'm not really
Reservoir
sure.
Dogs, is that still also kind of?
Well, that's sort of the whole cast really of villains. I mean, like in Pulp Fiction, the most evil people are Zed and the other guy. The two.
Yeah, they're like the true villains.
Yeah.
I don't know his name, but the South African from Lethal Weapon 2, the dude who was.
Joss Ackland.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Diplomatic immunity.
Yes.
Revoked.
Well, and the guy that does the capoeira fight, with Riggs at the end. I mean, that guy's badass in there.
Queen Taramis. Yeah, Ursa.
Yeah.
Sarah Douglas.
Yeah.
I gotta look at the guy's name. Only the Strong name. What's Mark Dacascos' first role? What's the guy's name? I'm sorry that I've forgotten his name, but I forget everybody's name. As soon as you press the live button, I forget my own name.
Mine goes blank, man. It happens so often.
Yeah. Paco Christian Prieto. He played Silverio in Only the Strong. He's another turd. Good villain. So,
do you
yeah,
think? Do you think Auntie Entity is a villain, or she's just trying to protect her?
She's trying to. I don't think she's a villain. Yeah,
I never
thought
thought she was
about
a villain, man.
Yeah, I think Mad Max 3 it was like highly underrated.
No, it's not.
Because it's a masterpiece.
No,
The first half is highly underrated. The second half, no.
I think it's
No,
boring.
it matters. It's the whole. It's a whole thing. I'll give you the J-Man speech.
Not when the copter pilot is not the same fucking guy from the second movie.
That's
like, come on. I fucking hate that. I hate it.
I don't know why.
The same goddamn guy with the same goddamn shtick. Stop it. It's him.
Okay. Anywho, back to Earth here. Charlie, call us when the shuttle lands. Call us when the shuttle lands.
I apologize for that outburst.
Anyways, no, she's not a villain. Just like it wasn't a tumor, she's not a villain.
Not a tumor.
Oh, the bad guy from Kindergarten Cop.
Richard.
Yeah.
Richard.
Oh shit.
Richard.
Head.
Dick.
Middle-aged men try and remember names. This is what this
How about Armand Asante?
Yes, from Judge
Dredd.
Yes.
Judge Dredd.
I'm going through my list of movies here. Let me see what
Actually, it's 1999, so we can say Agent Smith from The Matrix.
I agree with that. I wasn't sure if but he's good. He's pretty good in anything. Like even if he's a good guy, he's good. If he's a bad guy, he's good.
I would also say if you want female villains, the movie's not that great, but she's awesome in it. Sophie Marceau from The World Is Not Enough.
Yes, I love her. Also, the movie is good. It's maybe one of my. I love it.
And I love World Is Not Enough, so we're good on both counts.
Yep. So my only problem with that is that they underused Renard. And it's such a great concept, and they did nothing with it.
They did nothing with that. Was the problem with it? Is like he introduced him, he can't feel pain, and Robert Carlyle's awesome.
Yeah, he was great in it. Yeah. Yes, from Under Siege.
Everett McGill is awesome, and also in People Under the Stairs. Although that's
and Silver Bullet.
But I mean,
you see Eric Bozine as well from.
The other issue we run into this is because how many action movies do we watch that are like Rambo 2, Rambo 3, where it's basically just an entire country that's pissed off at you. You get a cool general, but you never really know their names.
No,
when you
the Rambo movies, I don't consider have villains really. The villain is almost Rambo himself battling his inner demons.
It's that, but it's the mission is almost the villain in his movies. But I do love when he kicks ass and he throws a Russian down the hole and a bomb explodes and shit like that.
Guy in Kindergarten Cop, I knew it was.
That's what it was. Yeah, good job, Benny.
Yeah, Rambo 3 also has another one of my favorite bad guy deaths of all time. The grenade around the guy's
Charles Rain from Passenger 50.
Charles Rain is not insane. Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
Do you think that's a deliberate nod to Charles Rain from Rolling Thunder, William Devane? Since Charles Rain has come home to war.
Rolling Thunder is awesome. I used to have the shirt of that.
I still have a T-shirt somewhere. Yeah.
Yep. FYI, Rotten Cotton clothes. That's where I got all my shirts. Rotten Cotton.
Rotten Cotton at age. Con Air said, Cyrus the Virus.
All of them.
Yeah. So
like, I don't think there's an underused character in Con Air at all. Like they all stand out. Like there's no other than the guys they literally kick off the plane. Shit about them. But every character in that movie is fantastic.
Charles Rain has one of the best lines in any action movie where it's like, anesthesia for the pain. Why? For the pain. There will be no pain.
There will be no pain.
Yep.
This is kind of a random one. Russell Crowe in Virtuosity.
Yes.
Yes, Sid 6.6.
That was cool. That was that brief 20 minutes whenever everyone thought virtual reality was going to be this like big thing in the future, and then it kind of just went.
But maybe we're living in virtual reality now.
Maybe we are.
Like mind warp.
I watched that in theaters. That was it blew my. Actually, me and Ben Shadow Viper went and watched that in theaters, and it has a very young Kaylee Kuko from Big Bang Theory. She plays the daughter character at the end when she's trapped up on the building. But God, I love that. It was a good Denzel one, man. I love that movie.
Yeah, no, that movie was the first movie I'd seen in THX, and we were just like, it's like we're never watching another movie without it. Like that's it's like that's it. We're like it's like
the standard.
Yeah. It's like now when we go to IMAX, like my first time I went to IMAX, I'm like, I've never seen anything but an IMAX. Yeah, Robert De Niro.
Robert, particularly in like The Fan as well with him and Wesley Snipes. I do like that movie. That gets dumped on by everybody. I thought it was a cool movie. Like, yeah, it's generic, but I love those like psycho thriller movies. Like Fatal Attraction or Unlawful Entry. You could actually say Ray Liotta from Unlawful Entry.
I mean, De Niro's crowning achievement in as a villain in an actionist movie, at least, was Cape Fear.
Yeah.
It's more of a thriller, but he is so good as Max Cady.
Yeah,
almost as good as the original one, Robert Mitchum, who I think is still better, but pretty good.
You're saying that like the Rambo movies, there's no villain, but like the Braddock movies, I'd say the first two, those villains, like you want to punch them in the face, like Colonel because he's super sadistic. And James Hong in the first one.
Yeah, I was gonna say James Hong. He's the one that gets stabbed in the bedroom when Braddock breaks in there, which is awesome.
Yeah. Well, but, guys who are completely detestable villains who you want to just punch over and over in the face. Terry Silver from Karate Kid 3.
Yes.
I want him dead in the worst way when I watch that.
John Voight.
John
Anaconda. Terribly awesome.
Yeah.
Here's a strange one. Meg Foster in Leviathan. You want to punch that woman in the face. It's all about we'll get you as soon as we can. Oh, it's a big storm. We can't get you. Thank God you survived. And I love Meg Foster. She's Evil Lynn. She will always be Evil Lynn to me. But in that role, she was a bitch. Like
even in They Live, man.
I was going to say I want to punch her in the face when They Live.
I forgot about that. Was her
when she double crosses Roddy Piper at the end. I'm like, are you joking right now?
Yes, that's still kind of shocking when you watch it and have seen it for a while. You know, you get sucked in.
I absolutely hate it, and J-Man loves his character, and I hated him and I still kind of hate him. Benny from Total Recall. I fucking hate that. I hate
shit, man. I ain't even married.
I got 5 kids.
Benny had several children to feed. The number was off. And it's questionable whether he actually had any children. But I believe him, and I believe that he had a lot. That he was doing the best he could. He
lost count, man. He literally goes, "Oh man,
he's a busy man."
Me. You know? And he's like, "Screw you, Benny."
He just had them out of wedlock. You can interpret that line differently. He said, "I'm not even married." See, listen, I'm doing the Benny, the defense for Benny. I'll be the defense attorney.
Oh, Tia Carrera in True Lies.
Oh, yes.
Awesome female villains.
She made a fantastic villain.
Yeah. Art Malik in True Lies as well. Actually, he was good too. Where's our 4K James Cameron or even a Blu-ray? Come on, like really?
I know they're teasing it this year again, and I'm like, come on, man, I'm not
never mind
believing it till I see it.
Give us fucking True Lies.
I don't. Yeah, True Lies.
Michael Biehn in The Abyss.
Yeah. Yes. Michael Biehn is like, he's so good as a good guy, but when you see him as a villain, he is so awesome as a villain.
It is. And like I said, it's jarring when you see him as a villain, which makes it even better. It's like you're not expecting him to be a villain, and he pulls it off really well.
I mean, one of my favorite movies of all time, it's a Western, but it actually Silverado, Brian Dennehy, great villain. Jeff Goldblum's a villain
as well. Yeah.
Jeff Fahey's a villain. Like, and John
Fahey's awesome as a villain, man.
And John Cleese is a dick. Even John Cleese is he's a bit of a dick.
Yep.
What about Baron Harkonnen in the David Lynch's Dune? He's pretty gross and
Also, pretty much all the bad guys in The Last Boy Scout as well. Haim, remember that guy? So Billy Drago,
How about Lee Van Cleef in any of the? Well, I know that's too old. The westerns and all that. That's
I know we're all scrolling, looking.
I'm literally scrolling through the movies.
I'm just looking to see if there's any movie. I'm sure there will be stuff we've forgotten. Like as soon as I press end, I'm going to be like, "Oh wait,
no!"
Oh, you know who I really like is Tarzan. He played Warbeck from Expect No Mercy.
You love him, yeah.
I love Warbeck. It's
no, I know who you're talking about. Yeah.
the blonde guy.
Billy Blank's movie. Yeah.
He's got an awesome name in real. Wolf Larson. That's it.
Oh,
Wolf
yeah.
Larson.
Oh, Wolf Larson.
Okay, because he's got the VR goggles and he's eating cookies while people are being killed.
Yeah.
And that's really enjoyable.
That's
but
villainy.
then also he kills there's the guy there and then the guy kills him and he's like, oh, you're not going to charge me for him. He's like, oh no, I never charge for demonstrations. Very reasonable. He kills people and he's giving you a freebie kill just to show you that he can kill. I think the guy was very reasonable. And if I was Billy Blanks or Jalal Marahi, I would have said, listen, this guy's he's a good businessman. He's bringing tourism. He's advancing technology. I was very behind Warback. I thought he was a great character.
Yep. You want to mention Billy Blanks and King of the Kickboxers as well.
Man,
which is a great movie. And then
is that the trees?
Yes, Sean. That's why I'm laughing. I can't. Okay, that. How do we train against this villain? Well, his legs are so powerful that like you have to two trees get crushed. It's like you have to block, and then the other, and then there's like another tree that swings at you. You're like, no, nobody's that powerful. Like it's like the force of a tree.
Then you also go to
Billy Blanks, and he's literally as black as my t-shirt.
And you just got cancelled. Great.
I don't care. I don't care. I love Billy Blanks.
John Lone from The Shadow, Shiwan Khan.
Oh yeah, he was good. Yes,
he was good. Awesome, man. Yep. He was a great villain in that. And Tim Curry. Yeah. Tim Curry has been in so many.
Loaded Weapon. Loaded is good.
Loaded is good. Peter says we're not meeting our quota.
Lauren Avedon in Tiger Claws 3 and in Bolo in the first two as well.
Yeah, he's a good guy in part 2, sort of. Yeah, he's a good guy.
It's kind of a redemption arc because then he goes into like some fantasy world or something.
Yeah. Even though he literally murdered people. It was a serial killer in the. I love that Sean is frozen, is smiling.
He's enjoying himself so much.
Randall Cobb, Slag from Blind.
Yes.
Yeah, he's great.
John Lone was in the Yep. John Lone is great, man. I having him and Tim Curry together, and Tim Curry was so slimy in Congo. He was such a bastard.
Yep, I love that.
Oh, Dennis Leary in Judgment Night and
oh yes,
don't whisper. No, don't move. Don't whisper. Don't even breathe.
Yeah. He's a bastard. Gunman is good in that too.
Sho Kazuki was also the assassin in Blind Fury, so he plays
Bruce Lee's brother. He played Bruce Lee's brother.
Yep.
They said, "Get me his brother," and he showed up.
Lyle and Tector, which was Nick Cassavetes and Rick Overton. Blind Fury had some awesome bad guys.
Shit,
fuck.
Oh,
Sean loves that.
No, that's because I ruined that entire thing. I said it was from this other movie, and then we started watching it. I'm like, "Who's from this movie, Sean? This is the movie." And I literally completely, I pulled one of our friends' name. I'm not gonna say his name in case he ever sees this, but he would do these fake stories, and it's like, and I kind of pulled one of those.
Kiefer Sutherland is another like very, very like I guess he's usually a good guy, but when he's a villain,
he could be scary.
He's awesome. Yeah. He's just like he's got that voice again. And he's got that like powerful voice, and
he's great in The Lost Boys, even though it's not an action movie.
It's not an action, but
sort of a horror comedy, but I still love it anyway. It looks great on 4K too.
Yeah. What about Full Metal Jacket?
Oh, Vincent D'Onofrio. I consider Vincent D'Onofrio a villain in that.
Well, and also Arlie
Hermy.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like they both get their just desserts. Like it's the weirdest thing.
Yeah. Michael Caine in On Deadly Ground.
Michael Caine makes a good bad guy.
And Arlie Hermy in that as well, because Arlie Hermy who gives the amazing speech about how amazing Steven Seagal is.
That is the single best speech about a hero character I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, you need to watch some of the newer Seagals because they try to top it. They kind of don't, but they do try.
And Urban Justice, which I just watched the other day, and I've written that. I'll post that the other day. But like, he doesn't even kill the bad guy, and then walks away from him, and then the bad guy's like, "That is so cool." And he's just so badass. I'm like, yeah, nobody would say that, but okay.
I mean, I think they're low key masterpieces of trash cinema.
Yeah.
Like they're just so bad, but they're not like so bad. They're just like so bad.
So bad.
Oh yeah, William Sadler as Senator Trent in Hard to Kill.
Yeah,
he got taken to the blood bank.
Yeah,
I missed. I never miss.
Yeah,
they must be really, really small. Toe Cutter from Mad Max, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he's thingy in the fourth one, which is great.
Morton Joe.
Yeah, Morton Joe.
Morton Joe.
Loving that. Yeah. And it's like, as much as they yell about the Knight Rider, the Knight Rider didn't do shit in that movie, man. It was all Toe Cutter, man.
Yeah, he was really good. I mean, I watched all the Mad Max movies recently, and the first one is probably like the most disturbing of all of them.
It is.
There's some really dark moments in it. There's sort of rape that's implied, but you never actually see it, which I think is good that you don't see it. But yeah. We should rank the Mad Max movies at some point.
I think that would be awesome. The death of Toe Cutter at the end of that effect they do with the eyeballs, like pumping out of his face. It's a blink of an eye, but if you pause it just right, motherfuckers are coming out of you like Total Recall, man. It's awesome.
Okay, what's everybody's favorite villain death of all time? For me, it's Andrew Scott in Universal Soldier, and You're Fired from True Lies. Those are my two favorites. So,
oh God, those are two good ones.
That's hard.
That's hard to top right there.
It's the same thing. Howard Payne's death and Speed. He pulls him up. He's like, "Yeah, well, I'm taller.
I'm taller." Yeah, that's good.
I love that.
He gets beheaded by a freaking thing in the subway tunnel. Like,
always love a good beheading in a movie. I'm sorry, that's always good stuff.
Oh, Thomas Ian Griffith and Vampires, John Carpenter's Vampires. That's sort of an action horror movie.
Yes, that is. Also, another reason for us to talk about James Woods.
Yes.
Not that we love James Woods, man. No, we never need an excuse to talk about James Woods. Man,
I think
good.
I like Screwface 2 or 1, whichever one gets like a broken arm and then he breaks their thing and then he throws them down an elevator shaft. I'm like, okay.
Hope they're triplets.
So that was that Screwface 2 who got that final death. I can't remember.
I haven't actually watched Mark for Death for a few years. I'm going to watch that soon.
The first one, he cuts the head off of it because he takes it back.
Yeah.
To the club.
Okay. Yes, I like Screwface 2.
Yeah,
his death is better.
Tommy Lee Jones has a good one in Under Siege, where like he gets
stabs
in the eye, stabbed in the head, and then freaking driven right through the monitor.
I would say the pipe through Bennett's probably one of my favorites. The let off.
Yeah, that's good. Bennett. That's good.
I mean, who the fuck does that? I'm just going to throw a pipe through you, and that's going to be the end of it. It sticks into the wall behind.
Yeah, how's steam coming out?
I think it like goes through like another pipe.
It connects to another pipe. Yeah.
He's a plumber, man. He does.
Two that sort of disturbed me a lot. Like one that really disturbed me as a kid was in RoboCop, where the one minion gets nailed with the toxic waste, and then like
the toxic waste one.
Yeah,
but like Clarence Boddicker getting the spike right in the throat, and then he's just like gushing blood.
I love that.
The best part about that is that they literally created that fake thing just to stab him at the end, and then they justified it by using it as a computer thing. No way. No. That was a weapon. That was a weapon. Even as a kid, when I saw it, I was like, yeah, he's gonna use that to stab someone, guaranteed.
Yeah. I like the Kane kill at the end of RoboCop 2 when he rips the brain out of the robot and then smashes it just to make sure it's done.
And reuse it again. Yeah.
So awesome, man. Love that kill.
Yeah. You gotta have Cyrus the Virus's death at the end of Con Air because it's so amazingly ridiculous. Where
it's like out of nowhere.
Yeah, tied to the fire truck, it crashes. He flies through the air, goes through this glass building, goes through electric cables, then lands on this conveyor belt with this crushy thing. And I'm like, I don't even know why that crushy thing's there. Who fucking cares? Crush his head. That's awesome. So that's
they kill off Diamond Dog so fucking fast, and then Cyrus gets a Looney Tunes death that is just
cartoon. Yeah.
Rambo 3 was crazy too. The guy wasn't there like multiple. Yeah, no, but then he kicks him, puts the thing on, and he falls down. He blows up, and he falls. It's like, okay, well, any one of those things would have.
He's already dead.
Yeah, that was always funny.
Yeah, do you know this isn't this is from 2005, but you know what I think is one of the cruelest deaths I've ever seen for a character who didn't really deserve it though? Andy Serkis in King Kong. Those creatures like slowly like eating, and I'm like, that's the most awful thing I've ever seen.
Have you seen like the full on director's cut? Because it's longer in that.
Yeah.
That whole sequence is drug out. It's
Oh, yeah.
it's almost unwatchable for me, man. It reminds me of the Deep Rising with the creature pukes out the other guy and like half of his face is disappeared.
Oh man, I saw that in the theater. That was like,
so fucking good, man.
Yeah.
I didn't like the little bald, like he's not a villain, but the guy in Lost World, the little bald guy who's like a character actor in 7,000 movies.
Yeah.
And like he got nailed by 2 T-Rexes and they literally fought over his freaking body and ripped it in half. And
Isn't he one of the ones from Green Mile? Like he's the one that had the mouse or something like that?
No, that was what Michael Jeter you're thinking of.
Okay, thinking of Michael Jeter.
Yeah, this is I'll get his name. He's in
which is that Jurassic Park 2?
Yeah.
There's so many, I kind of just lose track of what happens. And
I've seen them all. I have seen the first 4 once, and I haven't seen anything after that.
It's like now we don't even get really cool kills like that. That was an awesome. It's like they had to top the T-Rex eating the dude off of the toilet. So this guy got ripped in half and fought over, which was badass. And then we never really got anything cool after that, really. I mean,
there's a guy that got stepped on in that movie too, and the guy is stuck to the foot as it's like running.
The closest we got was the girl that got dropped from the pterodon, and that underwater one ate her. I was like, that was cool, but still, it's not as visceral as the ones from 1 and 2.
No, Richard Schiff is who I was thinking of.
Richard Schiff. I know who you're talking about.
I think he was in Man of Steel, if I'm not mistaken. He was one of the guys.
Yep.
I'm sure he regrets it.
I'm sure he does.
I'm sure he got paid, and he's like, oh well, on to the next.
Well, the big thing is getting a good death, right? Like a lot of people want a good death if you're going to get killed.
I think if you're going to be in an action movie, especially a villain, my first thing is how am I going to die? You know, it's like Silva dies like a bitch at the end of Above the Law. I still hate that death.
Right.
It's so like it's underwhelming for all the build up. I'm like, it's bullshit. I don't like that one. But then you get awesome ones, like we said, Tommy Lee Jones, Gary Busey kind of got put out like a bitch. He got blown up by artillery.
I don't like things where the bad guy dies off screen. I'm like, no. I need proper closure. I need to see him.
Well, like we were talking about on the Specialist last week, like everybody just dies by explosion, and it's so unfulfilling. James Woods it needed to be personal, and it never was. And that's what I like about some of the the good action movie kills are personal. Hand-to-hand combat, or I'm gonna run a helicopter into your fucking ass or something. I'm gonna take a tank and we'll run into a helicopter, and that's how I'm gonna kill you.
Well, I do like the deaths in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. First of all, the secondary villain goes off a cliff on a tank, and you literally see in the little model the body ricocheting.
I love that.
That's awesome. And then the main villain, who was also the main villain in For Your Eyes Only, he literally ages to death and he dissolves in front of your face. I think that's awesome.
Which stands up to the melting face from Temple of Doom.
Totes, the guy with the hair, the black hat and the glasses. He's another one who's scared the shit out of me as a kid. He was a great villain.
When he pulls out those coat hangers, still to this day, you're like, what the fuck kind of weapon is this dude got? And then he hangs. Exactly. I'm thinking, I've seen the ninja ones where there was 3 of them. It was a weapon. This
3-section staff.
And then he hangs his coat.
He plays the same character in one of the Mad Missions as well.
Oh, I love Mad Mission.
Aces Go Places.
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
I want to mention Griffith and Zhang from Double Impact as well. They were particularly hateful, but Zhang gets thrown off a crane and falls to death, and then Griffith is crushed by a crate, which is awesome. So those are both thoroughly satisfying. See, they need to bring back, right, Hollywood, if anybody is watching this, which you're not, but if you were, you need to bring back epic bad guy deaths and cool one-liners to say whenever the person is being killed. That's just the way it is. I keep watching movies and waiting for someone to say something cool whenever they kill somebody, and then they don't, and I'm like, why aren't you saying anything? Because you got to say something.
Because the filmmakers don't watch action movies.
Right.
Whatever genre they're working in, they have zero experience in that genre.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you're gonna make a Marvel movie? Well, I don't want you reading any Marvel comics. We can't have that.
It's my favorite one from one of the newer ones, obviously, was the final kill in Nobody, when he takes the claymore on the side of the bulletproof glass and runs at the dude and blows him up. I'm like, that felt like an action movie.
That's all the John Wick peeps. They all know what they're doing. Like you kill a
Yeah.
motherfucker with a book in the third movie. That's awesome. I want more book killings and stuff
Right.
like that. Yeah.
The book killing is awesome. I just rewatched that the other day too. It's
Bullet
really
Train
good.
has some really cool kind of kills and deaths into the end
Yeah.
of it too. I mean, dude kills himself with the damn gun that blows up.
Yeah.
The hook
Yeah.
into
The
into
nice
Brian
slasher,
Thompson, man. God,
yeah.
still don't know how that pierces a human being, but it works. It's
It
effective.
doesn't matter. It's action movie logic. It's all matters. Yeah. Don't overthink it.
Oh, man.
What else? So, yeah, we can't really say the Predator and Alien, but we'll just give them an honorable mention anyway, because obviously
Yeah.
they're awesome.
Well, the Predator blows himself up. The best kill for him would be Predator 2, where
while
he
laughing maniacally.
he
Yeah.
gets disemboweled, which is awesome.
Yeah.
This
Double Team.
Yeah.
That's an awesome death as well. He's about to get eaten by a tiger, stands on a mine and just blows himself up.
Yes, that was good.
Really good.
The real villain is Dennis Rodman in his outfits.
Let's see. Well, if franchises count, we can do like Lethal Weapon 4, where Jet Li gets shot by an AK underwater by Rig. I mean, that's pretty badass kill. And Jet Li sells it too. Like, I'm like, this fucking looks like realistic. AKs can shoot underwater too, anyway. But
we haven't even mentioned any of like the Hong Kong movies, like Hard Boiled or the Killer.
I was thinking of some of those.
Yeah.
I had Hard Boiled.
I don't want to butcher their names to death. That's part of the problem. But I'm not as well versed in a lot of those as I am with like American action movies.
Yeah, he said he ruined one-liners and James Bond after that. So
well, they copied them. They copied the story of Blofeld from that. It's like the half brother.
That was hilarious. Yeah, and you're like, wait, so now you're making a serious version of this parody, and you're like, really?
Yeah, right.
But that was from like 13 years before that James Bond movie, so it's like,
right?
They knew what they were doing. It's not like it came out the year before or something.
No,
correct.
Yeah.
And it's not in the books, so it's just like the most dumbass thing.
Oh, the death of James Bond—that's the real death.
That is the death. Yeah, that is the worst death.
God damn! In the movie and in the franchise.
And in the right.
Oh, in the movie, it's unwatchable.
Yeah.
I still haven't watched it because of you guys. I just
don't
Sanchez and License to Kill. Robert Davi is called Sanchez. That's a funny way. It's
called
Sanchez. Because they'll have 3 Spanish names they can come up with in Hollywood.
I remember Sean Bean has a good death in GoldenEye, doesn't he? Like,
satellite. He falls.
Satellite
falls on him. Yeah. Sanchez and License to Kill. He gets set on fire, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And Benicio del Toro falls in that mincing machine as well.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Was it? Oh, Exterminator 2.
Yeah, I mentioned X. I bought the CD.
I'm gonna make that a ringtone on my phone.
You can't. I looked for it.
I used to download it as an MP3 and use that. That's what I do. So.
Oh, you will use MP3?
That's why I have the He-Man theme as my current ringtone.
I just bought it from iTunes. I bought like the Halloween song and He-Man and whatever.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, well, that's nearly 9:30, so Canada has to go to bed.
It's time to roll up the sidewalk.
Canada closes at 9:30.
Yeah, the country shuts down. And does anybody else have any villainy things they want to mention before we forget? Anybody mention anything we've forgotten?
I can't believe we would have forgotten anything by now at this point.
No, that was a pretty thorough list. I mean, there's going to be something. How did you forget this? Because there's always some.
Didn't they? Even Steven's like, I'm out. I got nothing left.
Out. You can't drop the mic here because it's like attached.
Yeah.
I got to take my Post-it off of Sean to make sure he's frozen still. It's fine.
He's still.
Sean is always, as soon as Sean smiles, he freezes.
Yeah.
He's such a happy guy. He's just smiling.
He's a very happy guy. It's amazing.
All right. Well, so you guys are going to be doing your fantasy stream next week. J-Man, do you want to tell everybody about that?
Sure. We're doing this entire next few weeks. We're doing a 80s fantasy tournament. There's a lot of rules to it, so like Conan's not in it and things like that. It's more like the B's and C's of fantasy. So this upcoming, it's actually going to be Friday. Is going to be not this Friday, next Friday. It's going to be Ator the Flying Eagle versus Hawk the Slayer.
Yep.
So that's going to be pretty
I've
exciting.
never seen these movies. How have I never seen these movies?
I don't know.
my God, I don't know.
You didn't grow up with me. You gotta
Uh,
you gotta like catch up on all of these. My wife's catching up on all of them. Not she's not impressed. But,
Tubi. just get on Tubi,
Yeah.
watch one sword and sorcery movie, and just let it go.
and just let it go. They all just come
You'll
up,
see
yeah.
them all, man.
I'm looking forward to the sorceress is going to be in the female one because I'm looking forward to that because there's tons of nudity in that. It's just they're just nude all the time. But anyways, so that's what's going on. Then Steve and I we do our weekly wrestling stream, and then Sean and I do so many like comic book related things. Like we're gonna do Legion of Superheroes coming up. We're gonna do the Secret of the Sword coming up too from He-Man.
Nice.
Which as soon as that theme song plays, I immediately cry, so we won't play the theme song.
Yeah, I know.
I immediately get teary-eyed. It still works.
Yep.
Like I just listened to it today. I'm like, yeah, I'm choking up. I'm like, yeah, I know the words. Can't do it.
I thought you said you don't feel anything. So now we
No,
know your weakness.
no. I only feel for happy things. I don't cry for sad things. Private thing. Enough has happened in my life that I've seen that now sad things don't affect me anymore. I only get cry when there's something happy. So happiness gets me. It's like when when they open the Matrix and Transformers, that gets me pumped up. Like happy thing, yeah. If it's sad, I'm like, yeah, whatever, walk it off, buddy. There's others you can do.
I
other
actually sobbed like a bitch the other day watching Jackie Chan's new film Ride On, and not because it was terrible. It was actually good, but. Movies about animals, right? I'm a softie for animals, and he's like has a horse in this whatever, and it's just like really moving story, and I really wasn't expecting that at all, but I really enjoyed it, so I definitely recommend it.
Well, Steve had to, Steve's got a website. He's got a new book out, which is his logo right there, Madhouse. So Steve's link to his channel is in the description of this video. Plus, it's also in the chat. So if you're watching this on a replay, I posted everything in the beginning as a chat. There it is, Madhouse.
We have it as well. I have glasses, I can read it. So,
yeah. So that's what Steve's up to, and he frequently appears on my thing for the wrestling stuff. So there you go.
Okay. All right, Charlie. What about you? What are you coming up?
Let's see. Next week is horror episode. We dive into The Cube, which is brought on by Nate. I was surprised to really get into a kind of a thinker kind of horror movie, but. Right after that, man, our 100th episode, Demolition Man.
Oh, wow.
Wait. We record it Friday night, so I am pumped, man. I am excited for it. Is probably, put a gun to my head, my favorite action movie, period.
It's certainly way up there. Yeah.
It checks every box. Yeah. I love it. Yes,
there's your ass on fire.
Yeah, yeah, there's certain days where you're like, I want to watch this or I want to watch that, but man, I don't think I've ever said no to watching Demolition Man. No, so I absolutely
one of those easily rewatchable movies. It's not practically a documentary. So
yep. And the episode that came out this week was Hackers. We got hacked by another podcast.
I nearly deleted your comment the other day because I thought, oh shit, somebody's been hacked. I'm going to remove this from the group. I thought it's like you'd actually been hacked.
I was surprised you let that one through because I was like, it's also technically not action, but I was like, maybe Owen will be cool with
I don't care.
Yeah. But no, we actually like set it up for the last few episodes that there's like technical issues, and then they took us over and we all have hacker names, and it turned into a 2-part podcast. We talked so long about that. So it was fun, man. So if you guys get a chance, check out, Give Me Back My Action and Horror Movies. And
that link is to his thing is also there as well. And in the description of this video, plus also in the chat.
Yeah.
And so Sean's too.
Yep. So while you guys are all doing our next week, we will not do a stream for a couple of weeks. I got a lot going on. I'm doing a few interviews. So tomorrow I'm interviewing Scout Taylor Compton from Rob Zombie's Halloween. We'll be talking about her new film, The Best Man. So check that out next Monday. And today I spoke to Brendan Fair, who is also in The Best Man. And he was from CSI Miami. And he was also awesome. So stay tuned for that next week. And then tomorrow I got my review of Sakura, the new Donnie Yen film, which...
Oh no!
I was a little disappointed, but it was all right. But I think if you're a fan of the wuxia genre, I think you really like it. But I'm not. See, like wire work and shit like that. I'm like,
yeah, I do like that.
So. You might like it then, but I find it kind of boring. But anyway, so We'll be back in a few weeks anyway, when we decide something to talk about. I think I have a few ideas, but either way, you can enjoy these guys' various things, and they'll be keeping action alive while I'm doing not a goddamn thing. Like take a little break. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you all for joining. And remember to leave a comment below if you think up any villains we've forgotten. I'm sure there'll be some major one we've forgotten. But whatever. We're only
it
human.
happens.
Yeah.
Yep.
Have mercy. But yeah, leave a comment down below, then like and subscribe to all the guys' channels as well. And we'll see you in a few weeks. And until then, remember, you are the Action Elite.